Imagine you're in the middle of a sentence. Not small talk, not filler. A real thought, one that carries weight for you. Maybe you're sitting at a dinner table, explaining something personal. Maybe you're in a meeting, finally expressing an idea you've thought through. Or maybe you're among friends, sharing something honest. Your voice is steady. Your mind is clear. And then it happens. Another voice cuts straight through yours. Someone steps over your words and takes control of the space you are occupying. In that exact moment, something ancient activates inside your body. Your heart rate spikes, your jaw tightens, heat rises into your chest and face. The instinct is primitive and immediate. Fight back. Speak louder, speak faster, reclaim the floor at any cost. Most people obey this impulse without thinking. They rush their words, overlap sentences, and raise their volume, believing that dominance is achieved by force. But from the outside, it never looks like strength. It looks like desperation. It looks like insecurity struggling to be seen. By reacting, they surrender something far more valuable than the conversation. They surrender control of themselves. An external interruption fractures their internal order. The Stoic understands this moment differently. The Stoic does not fight noise with noise. The Stoic does not scramble for airtime. The Stoic steps into silence, not as retreat, but as command. Today, we are dismantling the art of handling interruptions, not through aggression or clever comebacks, but through restraint, precision, and selective speech. You will learn why reaction is a form of submission, and why pausing, when done correctly, is a display of authority. Drawing from Stoic wisdom, particularly the teachings of Zeno and Epictetus, we will rebuild your ability to remain dignified when others lose control. By the end, you will understand the psychology behind interruptions and the internal posture required to stop them without force. To do that, we must first understand the structure of the interaction itself. Every interruption operates on a binary frame. On one side stands the insecure interrupter. This person is not powerful. They are volatile. Silence unsettles them. A pause in conversation feels like a vacuum that must be filled immediately, with their voice, their opinions, their ego. They interrupt not because they are confident, but because they are anxious. They equate talking with relevance, volume with authority. To them, dominating the conversation feels like dominating the room. On the other side is the Stoic archetype, the observer. The observer is still. The observer is grounded. The observer understands that real power does not announce itself. It does not rush. It does not compete. True authority is calm, measured, and often quiet. When you are interrupted, the mind immediately lies to you. It tells you that stopping means losing, that silence equals weakness, that if you do not push back, you have been defeated. This belief must be dismantled instantly. Stopping is not submission. Stopping is strategy. This is where the concept of weaponized silence begins. Think of the conversation as a spotlight on a stage. When you are speaking, the light is on you. When someone interrupts, they lunge for that spotlight. If you fight them, by talking over them or escalating, you are now wrestling in chaos. The audience sees disorder, not dominance. But if the moment they interrupt, you stop, cleanly, deliberately, without irritation, you do something deeply unsettling. You hand them the spotlight completely, but you do it when they are unprepared to carry it. You leave them standing alone with their own rudeness. You force them to fill the space they demanded without resistance. The room becomes aware of the imbalance. This is dignity in action. Zeno of Citium once observed that we have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we may listen more than we speak. This was not an argument for passivity. Zeno was pointing toward discipline. The ability to tolerate silence, to restrain speech, and to choose when to speak is evidence of superior character. Historically, the greatest minds viewed compulsive speech as a flaw, a leak in self-control. The inability to pause reveals an inability to govern oneself. When someone interrupts you, you are not witnessing strength. You are witnessing a lack of temperance. Before we introduce specific phrases, we must establish the emotional foundation. Why use these techniques at all? If your goal is to humiliate the other person or win the exchange, you have already lost your Stoic footing. You are still ruled by ego. The purpose of these methods is not to crush others, it is to protect your inner order. Epictetus taught that we cannot control the actions of others, only our judgments about them. If you react with irritation or sarcasm, you allow someone else's lack of discipline to dictate your emotional state. That is not mastery. Instead, the Stoic makes a private vow: I will master my tongue. And by mastering the tongue, the Stoic remains master of the soul. When you refuse to be rattled, you achieve something far greater than winning the moment. You win composure, you win authority, you win yourself. With that internal stillness established, we can now begin examining the first practical application: how silence itself becomes the first and most powerful response when someone tries to talk over you. Once the interrupter has spoken, pause. Not briefly, not nervously, but with intention. 1 extra second, sovereign, deliberate, and then resume your thought exactly where you left off, as if nothing happened. Say, as I was saying, and continue. Treat their interruption like a cloud drifting across the sun. It momentarily obscures the light, but it cannot alter the course of your ideas. This is mastery of temperance. Phrase 4 introduces a higher level of engagement, reserved for repeat interrupters or those being deliberately disrespectful. I want to hear your point, but are you interrupting because you feel I'm finished, or because you don't want to hear what I have to say? This must be spoken with curiosity, not sarcasm. A Stoic does not wield irony. A Stoic wields truth. By asking this question, you pull the hidden dynamics into the conscious space. Most interruptions occur automatically, driven by impulse. This question forces the interrupter to pause, reflect, and acknowledge their breach of the conversational contract. Often, they will step back. They may say, "No, I thought you were done. Please continue." At that moment, authority is silently reclaimed. Without raising your voice, without arguing, you have restored the natural order of the interaction. Phrase 5 is about boundary setting through calm precision. I'm going to pause you there for a second. I wasn't quite done. Stoicism is not passive. It is active engagement with reality. Sometimes reality demands a boundary. Speaking over you aggressively requires you to respond with control, not volume. Using a calm, measured voice to pause the interaction signals that you are in control. The word pause itself implies authority. By stating, "I wasn't quite done," you are merely reporting a fact. Facts are neutral. They carry no emotional charge. They are gravity, not argument. The average person might say this with exasperation. "Hey, I wasn't done yet." The Stoic says it with a flat, downward inflection. The difference is subtle but powerful. It communicates that your words have value and that you will not allow them to be overridden. Phrase 6 is a benevolent yield with psychological framing. You seem very passionate about this. Why don't you start and I'll follow? This allows the interrupter to speak fully, but in doing so, you mirror their emotional intensity and highlight its excess. Stoic philosophy teaches that allowing emotion to override reason is weakness. By naming their passion without judgment, you demonstrate composure while subtly teaching them the cost of uncontrolled emotion. You step out of the arena entirely, refusing to compete for attention. Often, this complete permission paradoxically reduces their momentum. Without resistance, there is no thrill in interruption. Their outburst diminishes because the friction they sought to exploit no longer exists. Now, integrate this into daily life. The next time someone interrupts, feel the urge rise in your body, the instinct to defend, to overpower, to assert. Recognize it, name it, release it. Step into the emotional logic bridge. Remind yourself, I am not here to win a shouting match. I am here to maintain my dignity. Decide consciously. Will you use weaponized silence, a benevolent yield, or a calm boundary? Whatever you choose, deliver it with the weight of ancient philosophy. Deliver it as if Zeno and Epictetus are observing your composure, standing beside you while emperors and crowds flail in chaos. When you refuse to battle for airtime, something shifts in the room. You become magnetic. People listen to the one who speaks less, but with more authority. Stopping when interrupted is not retreat. It is a strategy. It is waiting for the noise to pass so clarity can shine. The world is full of chatter, of people terrified of silence, filling every moment with sound to distract from their own thoughts. Do not join them. Be the contrast. Be the stillness in the storm. Remember, the objective is not merely to stop interruptions. The deeper goal is this: even in a noisy, chaotic world, you remain unmoved. This is the Stoic way. This is the path to genuine power. As you apply these principles, observe the results. Respect your own silence, and the world will begin to respect your words. Stand tall. Remain sovereign. Let your silence carry the same weight, if not more, than your speech. Now that you understand the foundational phrases and tactics, it's time to deepen the practice. Stoicism is not just about words. It is about presence, posture, and perception. How you hold yourself, even before you speak, can prevent interruptions before they occur. Consider this. When you enter a room with calm authority, your very presence signals that your words are not up for casual debate. Your stance, your breathing, the pace of your movements, all of these communicate confidence before a single word is uttered. When an interrupter senses your inner stillness, their impulse to dominate diminishes. The first rule of the Stoic speaker is preparation. Know your point, know your value, and approach the interaction as a sovereign, not a competitor. Your internal order creates a gravitational field around your words. People instinctively recognize that your voice carries weight, and interruptions feel unnecessary, even awkward. Let's expand on the principle of weaponized silence. Silence is often misunderstood as weakness. In reality, it is a tool of power. Each pause you take, each measured breath before responding, signals that you are in control of both your mind and the conversation. Think of silence as the background on which your words will stand out like a sculpture in a gallery. When someone interrupts, do not rush to reclaim the floor. Pause, observe, and assess. Their disruption now becomes an object of study rather than a threat. This is also where nonverbal cues become invaluable. A steady gaze, a calm facial expression, and a neutral posture can communicate more authority than words ever could. When someone interrupts and you meet their eyes without flinching, you convey that their intrusion has not rattled you. You allow them to speak, but their words lose power in the presence of your unshakable calm. Now, we can expand the phrases into situational variations to address different social dynamics. For instance, in a professional setting, you might combine the first and fifth phrases. I'm going to pause you there for a second. As I was saying, my point is. This signals both authority and clarity. You are establishing the sequence of dialogue while maintaining composure. In personal conversations, the benevolent yield works exceptionally well. You seem passionate. Why don't you share first? And then I'll continue. By framing their interruption as emotion-driven, you highlight the contrast between their impulsive behavior and your rational, composed response. Another layer to consider is emotional anchoring. When interrupted, the average person reacts with frustration or embarrassment. The Stoic, however, uses the body as an anchor. Take a slow, deliberate breath. Feel the weight of your spine. Relax your shoulders. This anchors your mind in the present moment and prevents the surge of emotion from dictating your response. Your reaction becomes intentional, not reflexive. The next evolution is proactive conversational control. Anticipate moments where interruptions are likely and create structures in the dialogue that preempt them. For example, clearly outline your points before launching into a detailed explanation. When people understand your structure, they are less likely to interject impulsively. Combine this with the phrases and cues we've discussed, and interruptions lose their ability to disrupt you. Finally, consider the psychological effect of timing. The moment between the end of your thought and their interruption is crucial. By intentionally stretching pauses, you create a rhythm that is uncomfortable for the interrupter. Silence becomes your ally. They are forced to confront their own lack of control, while your calmness signals mastery. The room begins to unconsciously align with your tempo rather than theirs. In essence, this session expands beyond phrases into the art of presence, observation, and preemptive control. When applied consistently, these skills not only prevent interruptions, but also elevate your voice so that when you speak, people listen, not out of fear, but out of respect for the authority of calm, measured thought. Your goal now is not just to survive interruptions, but to transform every conversation into a demonstration of composure, intelligence, and quiet power. By mastering your internal landscape, you make external chaos irrelevant. You become the still point in a storm of chatter. And in that stillness, your words carry weight far beyond the volume of those around you. Building on presence and preemptive control, we now move into the final layer: internalized authority and subtle influence. True mastery over interruptions is not just a series of clever phrases. It is a full integration of mind, body, and perception. When you embody calm, the world around you begins to follow your rhythm. Your voice commands attention not because it is loud, but because it carries certainty and clarity. Let's return to the binary frame: the insecure interrupter versus the stoic observer. By now you understand the mechanics, but the stoic goes further. You begin to read the intention behind interruptions. Some people interrupt out of ego, others out of habit, and some out of insecurity, masked as urgency. Recognizing the motive allows you to tailor your response with precision. You are no longer reacting to words alone. You are responding to the underlying psychology. Consider a practical enhancement: layering phrases with timing and tone. If someone interrupts, a calm, deliberate, "Please finish your thought, then I will continue mine," not only sets boundaries, but demonstrates fairness. Tone is critical here. Your voice should remain even, almost neutral, yet carry the weight of command. You are not asking. They are being guided by your presence to respect the order of conversation. Now, let's integrate the benevolent yield at a higher level. In moments of high tension, you might say, "You seem passionate about this. Why don't you lead, and then I will follow with my perspective." This simultaneously acknowledges their energy while subtly exposing the excess of emotion. The result is disarmament without aggression. The interrupter becomes aware that control cannot be claimed through volume or haste. Another important aspect is micro-assertions through posture and breathing. Before speaking, breathe deeply and ground yourself. When interrupted, your body remains aligned, shoulders relaxed, eyes level. Every micro-gesture communicates confidence, reinforcing that your words are not up for grabs. Silence, in this context, becomes a language of its own. The room perceives it, even if no one names it consciously. Now consider repetition and reinforcement. When these methods are applied consistently, they establish a psychological pattern. Others learn that interruptions are ineffective. Your speech is treated as an organized, deliberate, and valuable contribution. Over time, the interrupter will pause before interjecting. The environment itself aligns with your rhythm, and your authority becomes invisible, yet undeniable. Finally, let's expand on the philosophical foundation. Stoicism teaches that control is internal. External chaos cannot dictate your state. The interruption is not an attack. It is an opportunity to exercise restraint, to display composure, and to embody wisdom. By responding with calculated silence, deliberate phrasing, and mindful presence, you show that mastery is not a claim, but a state of being. The ultimate effect is subtle, but profound. You are no longer merely protecting the floor of conversation. You are shaping the conversation itself. People listen not because you demand it, but because your presence, tone, and calm authority naturally draw attention. The Stoics' influence is invisible, yet magnetic. It is a quiet power that requires no shouting, no posturing, no frantic assertion. Apply these principles daily. Observe the impact on colleagues, friends, and strangers alike. Watch as your composure becomes contagious, as interruptions lose their edge, and as the room instinctively gives space to your voice. Stand tall, speak with intention, pause with purpose. Let your silence echo with the same authority as your words. By mastering interruptions through silence, phrasing, presence, and perception, you embody the Stoic ideal: unmoved, unshaken, and sovereign. This is not just a communication skill, it is a philosophy of power. And when the world is loud, chaotic, and impulsive, your calmness will be the force that commands attention, respect, and influence without ever raising your voice.